Wow, welcome.
Welcome to CommChat.
CommChat number 510.
12.
CommChat 12. I
Yes.
can't believe we've done a dozen.
Yes, a dozen. A baker's.
Student produced, by the way. Student produced, thanks.
Yes,
Brittany Puckett,
thanks.
Melissa Bagley, Joe, I forget your last name, Murphy, and DJ Edwards upstairs directing.
Shout out.
Student produced, and we must not let you forget that. But joining us, wow, Siobhan Smith, one of our newest faculty members.
Yes.
Second year here at UofL.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Tell us about you.
Well, let's see. I am originally from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, born and raised. And then I went to Xavier University of Louisiana down in New Orleans. And even though New Orleans was dirty and it stank, I decided that I loved Southern Louisiana. I liked it down there. And so I went to LSU. In both places at Xavier and at LSU, I was mass communication major. So actually what some of our students are doing here.
Used to seeing this.
Yes, used to
yeah.
sing around here. And then after I graduated from LSU, I had every intentions of going into broadcast journalism, but there were no jobs. And so my father, I know, so look now for your job.
Yes.
And so my father encouraged me to come home, and I kept saying no. And then he said, well, why don't you come home and teach? And so then lo and behold, I graduated from LSU, I think on like August the 5th, and by August the 22nd, I was teaching a public speaking class to a group of 25 students at the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff in my hometown.
In
and
your hometown.
Yes,
how about
and so I decided that I loved it. I loved teaching, and so I taught at UAPB for 2 years. Went back to school at the University of Missouri and graduated. So I am a newly minted PhD as of December 2010. And so communication, and I do media studies. And so I like to, because I'm addicted to TV, so I usually am studying TV, and I primarily look at race and gender portrayals in the media. So that's a little bit about me, kind of like in a quick little bite.
Yeah, so definitely the media part, and then you've got some race, gender, and then you're doing research we heard about involving food.
Yes.
Tell us about
Everyone
that.
loves food.
Yes.
We're
Yeah.
all fans
Who
of
can
food.
not? Right, who
Yeah.
doesn't
Not
like
like
food?
The
Right.
foodies need to know this.
Yes. Well, I was invited to take part of a grant that actually is being led by Lindsay Della here in the Communication Department. She's the primary investigator. And so what we're looking at is how the food habits and food knowledge in two different communities. So here in Louisville, so looking at, and I'm working on pronouncing Louisville, not Louisville.
Louisville.
Yes.
All 10 ways.
And so looking at areas, so Park Duval, and areas such as those, and being able to compare them to rural area, and that is Hopkinsville. And so we're very curious to know ultimately, what do people know about food? And so the goal is to make sure that people have access to healthy foods that are good for them, and so trying to make the area better and the community better in that way.
And that whole communication piece is as part of that
Yes,
research.
most definitely.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
what are the messages that people get about food? And so far, just a little bit that we've seen is that people are actually very knowledgeable about food. For whatever reason, we tend to think that people aren't. But people know more than probably you would think.
Are you finding
about
out why
food.
they eat so poorly then? Because generally we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, it tends to, we think it has a lot to do with socioeconomics. So
Okay.
I might know that, this particular food or vegetable or fruit or something is better for me, but perhaps I just don't have the resources, or I just don't have the money to go buy it. And so that's what we're seeing so far. So in a little bit, we're going to start the next phase, which is actually doing our interviews in Hopkinsville. So we're excited to go down to Hoptown.
Hoptown.
And do our research there.
Oh, that's
Yes.
going to be, those interviews are going to be amazing.
Yes, we
I
can't
bet.
wait. And of course, we get to go and eat food in Hoptown too. So we're excited
yes,
about
of course,
that.
that's right. Food
as
is
well.
part of it.
Yes,
See,
ma'am.
generally,
That's great.
although we would consider ourselves educated, at least let's hope so, given a choice of Cheetos, celery,
Cheetos.
I'm going for the Cheetos every
Cheetos,
time.
yes, every time.
So it just depends on what people were raised to think about what they should put in their bodies. And so we're more knowledgeable, but we still go for McDonald's.
Right, even though some
Yeah.
people that we've talked to are actually starting to make those changes, even if they're just small changes, people say, well, I'm trying to move away from, cooking with so many fatty foods or with so much butter, and maybe I'll try to cook with less fattening things and trying to get used to the new taste. So we do see people are trying to do better. Like I said, people are knowledgeable about what's better for them. The issue just is making that step.
Yeah, having a little more balance in your nutritional plan each day.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd be curious what your take is on our friend Paula Dean, who
Ooh,
wow.
has been in the
now,
media.
You know,
And
sells
yes.
the butter, sells the fat, sells the sugar, and is now going to sell you the drug that helps you manage the diabetes that the
Right.
first 3 will give you.
Right. Well, I think it is really interesting because as a Southerner, and you know, she always says, you know, this is gonna be good, y'all, and she drops in all of her sticks of butter. And even as a Southerner, I'm going like, oh my gosh, I don't think
Two
I wanna
sticks of
eat-
butter.
I don't think we should eat this.
Yeah.
But I think that because, to my knowledge, that she's been dealing with it secretly for about 2 years, and so now she's letting people know about it. And because honestly, she is very loved and out there to many people, so I think it's actually a good thing that now she's being aware, letting people know that she has it and giving people that education that they need to take care of themselves. So even if the rest of the time she's giving you these really horrible and good oatmeal cookies with 20 sticks of butter, she's letting people know that you can't eat like that every day. You just
and
can't.
this was a big item in the media, as we know, this past week. I had my class, my intro to communication class. We used it as an ethics and communication issue. We discussed. It got, it was a big
it got pretty
discussion.
heated,
So
I'm
food
sure.
communication, certainly.
Yeah.
Fat, sugar,
good.
and butter are almighty delicious, though. And I
Yeah,
guess that's part of
yeah.
the problem. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Our student producers are telling me that we have run out of time.
wow.
Oh, come
But,
on.
but quickly before we go, Siobhan, if students want to take classes from you, what should they be signing up
Yes.
for?
So I
good
teach
question.
3 classes. 2 I've already been teaching and 1 in the future. So Intro to Mass Communication, which is COM 305. African Americans and the American Media, which is COM 326, which is also cross-listed as Pan-African Studies 312. And then next year in the spring, hopefully I will be teaching television criticism. So look for that.
Awesome, great.
Ooh, that's
Yes.
great.
Well, that is all the time we have for CommChat. Thank you again
Yes.
for joining
Thank
us.
you for having me.
And we will
Siobhan.
see you
Yes.
next time.